Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. And today we're going to take a look at the Byredo Metal Boots in the Snow palette. And I am beyond excited for this. I cannot wait to share this with you. I love these Byredo Nugget palettes. I think the formula is unlike any other eyeshadow formula that I've tried. These are made in Italy. There's a 1-year shelf life, and I put it back in the box so you can see how it comes packaged, but it does come wrapped in plastic, and then you slide this out. You've got a little canvas bag here, and inside we have our nugget. So you've got the nugget, gold on the top, black on the bottom, and the colors are labeled down here. And when you open it up, you have a mirror in the top portion. It comes with a piece of plastic that you can see it has the little like grooves to fit in here. And then this is the eyeshadow. So this particular palette also has a pressed glitter. They don't all have a pressed glitter. One of them, I believe it was Sciomancer, has a pressed glitter. This one performs much better in my opinion. I'm not sure if you know what the difference is, but this one's tackier, it stays in place well, and you know, it adheres a little bit better. So let's take a look at some swatches. All right, so this is the pressed glitter shade, and this is called like Frimus. And you can see when you swipe it, you know, it's not meant to be swiped. This is meant to be patted on. So I'm just gonna press some here. And you can really build that up to be like this blinding metallic. Look at that. It's stunning. So this actually, it feels a little, like it feels like there is a little bit of adhesive in it. It almost feels like it's a little moist, like it's a little damp. And so it adheres really well to the eye. Then these other shadows, and you can see with the texture of where my fingers have hit with these, they have kind of this like, it's a creamy formula, but not like what you would think of like a cream, like a liquid cream. It's like powder slash putty slash cream, kind of all mixed together. So these are the other 4 shades. So we have Strap, Boucle, Ground Frost, and Verglas. So let's take a look at these. So here is Strap, Boucle, Ground Forest, and Verglas. And let me just direct your attention to this one here, Ground Forest. Look at that shade. It is stunning. I have no words for it. It's like my favorite eyeshadow shade that has come out this whole year. Like, I'm not even joking. So we've got this beautiful green here. This one here is Strap, and it's kind of like a deep forest green. You can see that these do blend out, but these shadows, because of this like interesting formula, they apply best with your fingers. They're meant to be used with your fingers. You can use a brush. And, you know, this shade is actually very pigmented with a brush still, but in general, if you want a really soft, you know, not quite as much product, not quite as much color, then you want to use a brush. But if you want to get these types of colors, it's really, for the most part, going to be better off using your fingers. You can use like a dense brush, but I still think it looks better with the fingers. So again, this one's Boucle, the blue, and you can see it's like a steel blue. So definitely has some gray tones to it. It's one of those grayish blues, slate blue. And then we have Ground Forest, which is like this khaki olive green mixed with bronze. It's a duochrome. And this all over the lid is incredible. It's all over a good portion of my lid today. I love it. And then we have Verglas, which is, it's a silver, but look at it when I shift, you can see there's a little bit of like a warmer plum tone as well. So it's not like straight up silver. It's not overly cool. It is a warmer tone silver. Not that it's a warm tone shade, but it is warmer for the silver family. And this is the palette. I am in love with this palette. I absolutely love it. I can't say enough good things about this. I can tell you right now, it's going to be in my 2021 favorites. I mean, I'm just so happy with this palette. So let's go ahead and take a look at some demos. I was playing around with this, so I've got quite a few things to show you here. So we'll do some demos. And then we're gonna come back and I will show you the other palettes and everything that came out with the Byredo nuggets. Talk about the formula a little bit and some thoughts. All right, going into the metal boots and snow. Very, very excited about this. And we're gonna start off with the blue in the crease with, this is the Refer 27. Okay, so I have some product up on here. And just from running the brush over it, it does feel like that, you know, beautiful formula that I love in the nuggets. So I just picked up a little bit for a tiny bit of blue here. But obviously, you know, these are really ideal for finger use. So if you want more pigment, I would definitely recommend that. All right, and I'm gonna use the pencil 2 brush from Sonia G, and we're gonna go into this lighter green here. And I chose this brush. Oh, look at that. Look, it's not really green. I chose this brush though because it is, you know, firmer and denser, more like a finger. And I'll show you finger application on my left eye, but look at that. Wow, I like this color. This is pretty awesome. Okay, so here's our nice creamy greens. Get a little bit more. Put that down. So you can see you definitely get, you know, a better result using your finger versus the brush. But, you know, let's just add a little bit more and compare these. I really, really like this shade. I think we're gonna use more of this actually. I just wiped off this brush, even though it doesn't look like it. We're gonna go into the deeper green and put this, yeah, so you can see this one's definitely more green. We're gonna put this on the outer edge here. So get a little bit on the finger here. I mean, look how easily that goes on. But of course, you know, you put it on with a finger and it really stays where you put it. But if you want to blend it out, it is a little bit easier to blur the edges with a brush. You can see that there. All right. And I want to go back in with the, oh, I used the wrong shade. I want to go back into this light green here. And we're going to add more of this. Just going up to the deep. Look at that. Okay, so this shade is just like stunning. So I wiped off the brush and I'm just going into the crease a little bit with the pencil 2. And I'm going to get a little bit more of this deep green and just dab this right on the outer corner again. All right, wiped off the brush. I'm going to go into the silver and just add a dab of this in the inner corner here. And I'm going to take the Suku brush into this duochrome green and use this for the lower lash line. Just going to get a little bit more of the silver with this brush just to bring it down a little bit. And that's going to be the first eye look with this. And I think for the upper lash line, I'm going to add a brown liner and I'll see you in a minute. And this is the final eye look from a distance. Look at that color shift. It's there, but it's subtle. Like it's subtle enough that I think it's still, you know, it's more like, did that change color or did it not? You know, one of those types of things. It's not like bam in your face. It's a sophisticated duochrome. I love it, and I love the color. You know, this green shade is one of my favorite types of greens. After the first use, I can already say I love this palette, so I can't wait to play with it some more. and test out the other shades. I definitely want to test out the glittery shade because I didn't like that in the first palette that I got. On my face, I have the Sisley Le Teint Foundation in 0R, the Rodial Peach Lowlighter under the eyes, and the blush is the Givenchy Prisme Libre blush in, it's like the purpley pink one. What is this? Number 1, Mousseline Lilas. So I have that on, topped with the holiday highlighter. And I also have on some of the Guerlain Meteorites in Pearl Glow. So this one's similar to the light ones. Oops. And then also the Byredo lipstick in Amber and Furs. All right, so we're gonna play a little bit with this palette and then we'll do another look. So I'm going in with my finger into the blue shade here, and let's put this on the lid. Let's add a little bit more. Look at that shade when you build that up. Ooh, actually, let's add a lot more. I love this shade. Let me get a brush to blend that a little bit. And I'm taking the La Bouche Rouge brush that looks like this. And it's a little dense. This one's synthetic, so it'll work okay, but it's soft. I'm gonna get a little bit of product on the brush, so I just have like a softer bit of color in the crease here. All right, so I mean, we're just playing, so this might get a little messy, but I want to go ahead and play with this silver. So here's the silver. Let's see how this goes on without using anything. It's really just a pressed glitter. There is a little tackiness to it. It's almost like the glitter itself is a little wet. This goes on very cool, actually. I don't remember my other one performing this way. This seems improved. Let me get something for the inner corner as well. So gonna go into the silver shade. Look, it kind of looks a little brownish, actually. This is the Referee 03. Just gonna put this in the inner corner here. And I'm gonna get a little bit of this glitter on the brush as well, just to get a little bit closer to the inner corner. Wow, you know, you could use this as a really awesome liner. Let's try that on the other eye. I want to see the silver shade. We're going to do the silver on half the eye. And let's go into the dark green here. Okay, just getting a little more silver to kind of blend that. And now just a little bit more green. All right, so there are those shadows. And let's try this silver as a liner. So going in with the 03, just knocked off anything that's kind of like loose and hanging off. All right, so there it is. Look, that's pretty cool, but I also want to wet the brush and see what it does. So I'm taking the Esam mixing medium, just putting a drop on the back of my hand, getting the brush tip wet. And let's dip this into the glitter here. And I just want to see if this makes it go on more impactfully. That's kind of cool. So I think as a liner, I do prefer it wet, but it does work dry. Can you imagine doing like a wing liner like this? I mean, since we're just playing, so we'll just have a little fun. So I think if you were to do the silver, you probably want to have like an outline of like something gray and go over it with the silver if you're doing like a wing liner, just because it's really more the glitter particles. So it's not going to look completely even because, you know, it's pieces. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But first, here it is from a distance. Pretty awesome. All right, so we're gonna kind of do my favorite color, so this green. But first we're gonna start off, this is the La Bouche Rouge crease brush, and we're gonna go into the deeper green, and I'm using the brush just so I get just a little bit, oh, that's actually more pigmented than I expected. Yeah, okay. Actually, let's try and move some of this off. I would have gone with a different brush. I didn't expect that to be quite as pigmented with the brush as it was, but there we go. Next, I'm taking the Synergy Crease one. I'm going to go into the silver shade here and just going to get a little bit up and start off in the corner here and just working that out a little bit. I like this one because of the shape. It's really easy to get in the inner corner there and there. All right, and next I'm going to take my finger into this green. And what is this one called anyway? This is called Ground Forest, I think. It's very pretty though. Just going over the edges of the silver. All right, so just going back in with this and just very softly, you know, checking the edges. And for the lower lash line, let's go into the blue, actually. We're going to put this on the tip, and we're just going to start here on the outer corner. So just going a little bit past the halfway point. Okay, I'm going to a little bit more of this silver shade here and kind of connect that to the inner corner a little. All right, and then for the upper lash line, let's take some of the Eason Pro Mixing Medium and we're gonna go into the glittery topper. So just getting this is the Rephr 03 brush and just twirling it in the topper. And let's see how this goes. I'm twirling my brush as I move along. Just gonna get a little bit more product. All right, so here it is with the liner. Let me add some mascara and I'll see you in a second. All right, so this is the final look from a distance. And on my lips, I have the Byredo Via Rose, and I have the Tom Ford Blush Duo in Explicit Flush on my cheeks, and the Cle de Peau Holiday Highlighter in 102, A Glow with Wonder. And yeah, that's basically it. All right, so first I want to talk about Sciomancer. This was the first palette that well, one of the first. I picked up this in corporate when they were first launched. This is the other one that has the pressed glitter. So let's go ahead and swatch this one with it. You can see that this one, I mean, you can see more from the side, that it's not quite as smooth or tacky. Like it sticks to each other really well, but I feel like I'm gonna put this on top so you can kind of see. So you can see that swiping it, you know, also doesn't work. but this one feels grittier. Like even just like tapping it on, it feels grittier and it's harder to get kind of that opaque glittery look. I just, you know, you can get a look with it that looks really nice, but I just don't think it's as refined as the formula in this new one. Now, aside from that shade, I absolutely love this palette because the formula in this palette, so it's like this new one, which is also like the Disco. I feel like Corporate and the others, what's the other one? I'll get to that in a second. I feel like they're slightly different. When Byredo first launched these, I mean, you can see just looking at the swatches, how creamy and metallic those are. These are going to be a little bit more pigmented. They're jewel tones, but they still have that same texture. It's just so incredible to work with. So when Byredo first launched the eyeshadow palettes, they launched 3 of them at the same time. And this one here is Siren. So Siren, Sciomancer, and Corporate all came out together. And this is another gorgeous palette. I mean, look at this metallic. That is like one of the smoothest, creamiest metallics that you will find. But I feel like the formula in this, for the most part, is going to be very similar to the Sciomancer, which is super creamy. But these 2 shades here, the 2 lighter ones, the green and the pink, I feel like they're not quite as creamy and they're like a little bit drier. It's also a little bit harder to get quite as much of the pigmentation from them. Not just because they're like colors, but you can see just kind of how the product kind of fades out more. They're just not as rich and creamy, so they don't spread as easily, if that makes sense. So I feel like the formula for these 4 shades in Sciomancer is incredible. The formula in Siren is good. The formula in Corporate is good. I feel like this one isn't quite as creamy either. Some of the shades are. This one has a matte shade, which is different. But you can see this one, I feel like, is a little bit more crumbly. And some of the shades are kind of similar. Like this one is still pretty creamy. It's a little bit more crumbly though. But you can see that this lighter shade here in Corporate and the matte, they're like the green and the pink there. You know, they just don't spread as well. They're a little bit drier in formulation. So I feel like Corporate and Siren are a little bit more mixed in formulation, whereas Sciomancer and Disco and Metal Boots in the Snow all have this like perfected formula. So aside from Metal Boots in the Snow, this has been my favorite palette, followed by Sciomancer, and it's because of this formula. I absolutely love this formula here for Disco. We're gonna put this, we'll just go running down here. I mean, you can see how creamy those are. So Metal Boots in the Snow is, you know, it has that same level of quality, but it's cooler in tone. So I feel like it has just taken like some of the best things of all of these palettes and put them in this gorgeous cooler tone palette, and I absolutely love it. I'm really glad that they improved on the formula for this glitter. I mean, it feels so much better than this one, and it's much easier to use. These colors are amazing, but what makes this palette so special is this duochrome, because it's a duochrome for people who are not into the in-your-face duochromes. You know, a lot of times we see duo or multi-chromes in some of the brighter, more flashy colors. This is a neutral duochrome. And yes, there are some of these out there. You know, I'm not saying this is like the first time it's ever been done, but it's done really well. And, you know, there aren't too many luxury brands that have products like this. And to have this formula that the Byredo formula has, this like texture, and have this as a duochrome, it's just incredible. I really, there's no other way to say it. I highly, highly recommend this palette. I think it's fantastic if you like these cooler tone colors. Really, I would buy this whole palette just for this color, honestly. Like, it's that good. So if you're interested in this color story, I would definitely check this palette out. I think it is awesome. there are really no true comparisons of these Byredo palettes with other palettes. Yes, you can look at the colors with Disco. You know, there are a lot of palettes with similar color stories, but it's this texture, this formula that makes these things so different, because even if you have something that's the exact same color in another product, most often that would be like a powder product or maybe a cream product, it's not going to look the same because this finish is a little bit different. I mean, just the way that this finish looks on your arm, I mean, you can tell how creamy and pigmented it is. And it's just, it has a little something extra in it. And you know, I just have to say it's fantastic. So I know I've been raving and raving about this, but I do hope this was helpful. And again, if you are interested in this color story, I would recommend checking it out. If you prefer warmer things, Disco is a fantastic everyday palette. I really like all of the Byredo Nugget palettes. Sciomancer is fantastic if you like bright colors. I feel like, you know, these three up here, the Metal Boots, and Disco and Sciomancer, those are the best palettes from Byredo. And yeah, if you are interested in these, check them out. Also, check out their newest lipsticks. I'm telling you, Byredo is crushing it right now. Their new lipsticks, the shimmery nudes, that's what they're calling the collection. There are 4 shades. I have a video on it. I'll link it below. I have on Vio Rose right now. I mean, they are awesome. They've got great colors. They're like a modern 90s version. So it's like a modern take on 90s lipsticks. And, you know, you've got kind of this like pearly metallic finish instead of like straight up metallic. And you've got colors and shades that are more reminiscent of something that you would have found in the 90s. But again, everything has that modern spin on it. The formula for Byredo lipsticks is incredible. So, I mean, yeah, they're really crushing it right now. So I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing and sharing this with your friends. I will see you very soon. Have a great day and stay safe and healthy.